When you're ready, let's go.
What is up, guys, and welcome to some F1 2020 gameplay. Today we are allowed to show you guys a race, and I am going to take that to the maximum. Literally 100% race around the Vietnam Grand Prix in Hanoi, driving as Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. We're going to be starting towards the back, and we're going to see what it is like to overtake at this track, which has never been raced before. So before we get going, make sure you leave a like, subscribe. We're on the road to 500k. Please help me.
You join us today from Hanoi for what promises to be a great day of racing. Yes, it's time for the Vietnam Grand Prix.
I'm so excited for this. I feel like a kid at Christmas, seeing all the new animations, what's new with the new F1 game. Seeing the race intro for the first time, this being my first ever proper race on the game. Shout out to anyone in the comments who can see the amount of Benjamin Dailies on the starting grid here. There's quite a few of them, so let's see if you guys get it in the comments. But here we are, Hanoi, a circuit which has never been raced before in real life, and yeah, we're going to see what it is like to race with. Bear in mind, this video, I have to cut it down to about 15 minutes. Oh, hello, that guy's handsome. So I had to cut out some moments of action and just speed things up a little bit. If I would have had full creative control, this video would be 30 minutes. There was this much action in it. But we're starting from 18th place, just in front of the Williams. No Benjamin Daly on the Mercedes pit crew. So that's probably why this team is so dominant. The two-stop strategy, I tried going for the one. Looks like it's not going to be as viable. So we are going to go to the grid now, and it seems that the whole paddock is waiting for Lewis Hamilton to engage his clutch before the race starts. Five red lights, and away we go for the Hanoi Vietnam Grand Prix. I had to stay silent so you guys could hear the new light sound effects. I don't know. I really nerded out about that. But anyway, keep your eye on Nicholas Latifi on the outside at turn 1. He went from last to, I think, P13, so amazing start from him there. Keep your eye out for just AI behavior, because it looks like they've been tweaked a little for this game. It could be unique to this track, but I feel like the AI are a lot more aggressive, and they like to move over and squeeze you a little bit, so just keep your eye out for that. But we go through the roundabout for the first time. This is a 100% race, so full-length F1 Grand Prix like you'll see on the race weekend. So this will take us about 90 minutes to 2 hours to get this video in as we go for a dive bomb into a big hairpin. This is a really tricky overtaking spot because it's so tight on entry and on exit. You don't really want to touch the curbs, otherwise that's going to affect your exit and give you a lot of wheel spin. So yeah, 2 hour long race. Having to cut it down to 15 minutes is very, very tough. It's not my choice, but Codemaster said, Ben, it's a privilege to have a code for this game, but these are the rules, and I have to stick to about 15 minutes, so that is the reason why. Anyway, lap 2, we're putting a move here on Danny Kvyat if we can in the Alpha Tauri. Can't quite get that done. He gives us a little bit of a squeeze there. Nothing really doing. But yeah, the Mercedes, as you would expect, has amazing downforce, at least compared to these backmarker cars, and that's really showing at the moment. We have so much pace, but we can't really utilize it when we're just bottled up behind Latifi and Kvyat at this stage. Let's see if we can get the overtake button going, which we have enabled. 3 wide down the back straight, and that moves us up into P14. Just enough space. I feel like I'm very claustrophobic on that long curvy back straight, because the way that the cars or the AI tend to maneuver through there, it just kind of means that there's not much space either on the outside or the inside. It's just the way that they kind of move around a little bit, which is tricky. So too is the final corner, a lot tighter on exit than you would anticipate. So having to get through there cleanly is very, very difficult. I can't wait as Raikkonen has a little go at Ocon there in the Renault. I can't wait to tackle this circuit online and really let loose. I'm gonna spoil it for you guys. after doing this race, I really, really enjoyed racing here. There was just so much that was going on. It's so tricky, so technical, and the racing is actually really good. So let's hope that when F1 does come here eventually, it'll be just as good as the game, but who knows, it could be an absolute flop. Again, stuck behind 2 cars. Ocon going slowly, not wanting to really chance it around the outside of Raikkonen there. And again, it looks like it's going to be a 3-wide affair as we go down this back straight. We've got Lance Stroll right behind us as well. We're going to have to watch out for him. We've opened the DRS. No, we haven't even. Yes, we finally opened the DRS and we squeezed through. I only pressed the overtake button about halfway down the straight as well. So that was a bit tricky. Lock up. And that is straight on for Lewis Hamilton at the hairpin. Oh, we're going to have to start from scratch again. Back down to P20. We fly past George Russell, who, unfortunately for him, doesn't have equal cars like in the virtual GP. Those of you who are maybe new to my channel, I've been taking part in some really, really cool online races against the real Formula 1 drivers on the game. Yeah, the likes of George Russell, he's like F1 esports pace. He's an absolute alien. Nicholas Latifi is absolutely no slouch either. Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Checo Perez, who just got the game. They're all fast. Of course they're fast. What do you expect? It's the F1 drivers on the F1 game. But I'm getting sidetracked here. We're going up the inside of one of the Haas drivers. Only just enough space as we lose the back end, trying to get back on the power very eagerly. But we will bide our time. Or will we? As we go around the outside here into the right-hander, P15. As we snake our way through the 3rd sector. And I tell you, even after 50 laps, I was only starting to get this section right after, yeah, lap 50 or so. There were so many little jinky steering movements I was making as I wasn't just going through there smoothly, unfortunately. But now I feel like I've got a rhythm around here. And now that I do have a rhythm, it's really nice. You know what else is really nice is the handling model. I should probably touch upon that. The cars are so much more capable this year. The cars can brake later. I feel like there's more downforce in these cars. However, it is easier to break traction in certain scenarios as we go around the outside of Esteban Ocon there, P12, for the 2nd time in this Grand Prix. Hopefully this time we won't throw it into an escape road. That would be nice as we get a really nice run out of the final corner. That was a corner I felt really strong compared to the AI, at least in these lower down cars, because they lacked a lot of downforce. But anyway, it's P11. We're catching up to the top 10 now. Daniel Ricciardo is bottling up Danny Kvyat. We shortchanged Kvyat there in the roundabout section. That's actually a really easy move for me to make, given that I have a much better car and I can do that and rotate the car quite nicely. Now we get past Ricciardo, just about as he squeezes us right into the wall. That's what I was talking about with the, oh Jesus, we've run wide again. Thankfully not up an escape road this time. That's what I was touching upon. It feels so claustrophobic on that back straight. It's not much space there, and it's never really straight. You're always got a little bit of steering lock on the car, and you can kind of just park it in the middle of the road and, to be frankly honest, be a bit of a prick to people behind you, especially when it comes to online. I feel like that's going to happen a lot. But anyway, as we cross the line, I actually left my overtake button on. There's a funny thing about the overtake button. Once you press it, you actually have to depress it if you want to go back to the normal ERS deployment mode. So that's something you'll need to think about. So yeah, just remember that. It doesn't work like DRS, where if you press the brake pedal, it doesn't go back to standard mode, as we've got Giovinazzi out of the Grand Prix. He had a technical failure, and now we have Max Verstappen diving it in early for a pit stop. And he emerges in pretty heavy traffic here, as you can see from the onboard, overtaking the likes of Raikkonen and Kvyat at the edge of the top 10. So he's going to make a charge towards me. And from what I remember, Max was very, very fast in this Grand Prix. So watch out for him as he gets the undercut. But we got the inside of one of the McLarens. This is Lando Norris, my teammate last weekend at the virtual GP. See you later. And what's this? A little replay of us getting past Norris. See, like, yeah, just not much space. Even though it's just 2 of us, we barely get through there. It's quite frustrating. But now we move on to Carlos Sainz a couple laps later, and that is us up into the top 5 now by virtue of other drivers making their first of many stops It looks like the AI are going to be making 2, 3, some drivers even make 4 stops in this race. It's pretty ridiculous. I don't think the tyre wear was, or the strategy was calibrated very well for the AI at this circuit. And I don't blame Codemasters for that, because we've never raced here before. We don't have any tyre wear data or anything like that. And the game is still work in progress. So you got to cut them a little bit of slack now, as we can see Verstappen, who has freshly come out of the pit lane on his soft tyres, is making a move on us. And so too is Albon in the second Red Bull. He goes up the inside into the left-hander. Alexander Albon, really, really fast driver on the F1 game as well. He's quite underrated and hasn't got the results that he has been looking for. Pierre Gasly also got the game last week, and he was mighty fast in his first laps on the game. Anyway, where are we? Dive bombing Albon. Leclerc got past us at some point as well. This is a bit of a manic race at this point. This is the point of the Grand Prix where I really had to chop up a lot of the highlights into a short space of time, because I realized I was never going to fit this whole race into a 15-minute segment. So here we go. We're back on the softs. And judging by the tyre wear, I think I probably could have done a one-stop in this race. But heading into this pit stop, I forgot to change the tyre compound to mediums. I should have fixed that up. I just left it and we went back onto the softs. And so now I'm committed to the two-stop. But otherwise, I probably could have done a one-stop in this race, which is pretty scary. But anyway, we're finding a way with Charles Leclerc, who we did get a brief undercut on, and now we're kind of slipstreaming each other and DRS training each other. I think it'll only be a matter of time before he gets back past me. We set a fastest lap of the Grand Prix as now pit window is open. So we'll be diving it in for the mediums to round out this race very soon. Again, slipstreaming Leclerc and trying to follow him as best we can. Maybe getting a bit too close in the third sector in that last clip. But again, we fly past him. We're catching up to some lap traffic as Leclerc fights back into the hairpin. But we get the move done. Tyre wear not looking great. So we will be diving it in very soon as we get past George Russell, who is the championship leader in the virtual GP series, not having such luck in the real life. I'd imagine he'll be going to Mercedes very, very soon. Anyway, final stop of the day. I did have some front wing damage, which was very, very light, so I decided to change it as we move on to the medium compounded tyre. I want to finish the race strong and have the pace, just in case there's a late safety car or something like that. Then we can really have the tools under us to fight the top 4 or 5 guys. But we see a couple laps later, Leclerc responds, and he emerges a few seconds up the road by virtue of my front wing change, which cost me about 5 seconds. So a bit unfortunate, but now we have a VSC because Max Verstappen is out of the Vietnam Grand Prix. Had to think about that one for a second. I haven't said Vietnam Grand Prix too many times, as you would imagine, but he is out. Unfortunately, no full course caution, which would have really got us in the game to win this race. As soon as I went on to the mediums for this back end of the race, I feel like maybe the tyres were really suited to the Mercedes. That, or the AI was saving fuel towards the end. Either way, I felt like an absolute weapon towards the end of this race. In the final stint, I felt like I was the fastest car. Whereas on the softs, I felt like the AI, the top running guys, were a couple of tenths faster than me, at least. But how the turntables in this final stint, it seemed. But we're getting towards the end of the race now. I should probably tell you guys some other things about the game that are new. You can see in the top left, the delta is always, it's always there. It's dynamic. It's always visible to see where you're gaining and losing time, which was absolutely awesome. Another thing as well is the brake bias. You can now change the brake bias by increments of 1. So that is going to be very handy for those league races. And that is the race. We tried chasing down the top 2, but we just kind of ran out of laps, unfortunately. But it will be a podium on our debut on F1 2020. 3rd place for Lewis Hamilton. You'll see in a second. We get driver of the day. So Crofty backs our drive.
Plenty of action here in Hanoi. A memorable race and an impressive victory.
And there we go. That is the video. It literally feels like this one has flown by, and I didn't get to say even half the amount of things that I wanted to say in this video, but don't worry, we will cover said topics in those future videos. So let me know what you think of F1 2020 so far. If there's any other stuff you want to see with this build of the game, I can make 2 more videos with this build, and I'm yet to decide what I'm actually going to make. So we'll leave it at that. So far, I'm loving F1 2020. Really encouraged by everything I've seen, whether it be the AI, the handling, graphics. It's very, very promising. But that's it from me. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video very soon.